Our next session, I think, is one that we've been looking forward to, and I've been looking forward to it, of course. And this is really the segment that looks at meet and talk to your regulator, or hashtag T2R. We want this to be as interactive as possible. And so without further ado, 230 days after the enactment of the PVO Amendment Bill, progress status. Please, and I'm going to say this very openly. We know we talked about consulting and this enemy thing. Well, I can proudly say that our next speaker and me have been friends for quite a long time, in fact, a very long time, in fact. And he is the Acting PVO Registrar, Mr. Tirivavi Totamirepi Tirivavi. Please, big round of applause for the Acting PVO Registrar. Now, this is an interesting session because it's just me and him and you. Welcome. Come up to sit here. Right. Grab a seat, please. Yep. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear oh my. It feels strange being up here. Right, so, sir, thank you so much for giving us your time. I think you've heard some of the issues raised. I think we're not here really talking about the higher level policy issues. I think that's left in Minister's office and Deputy Minister's office and President's offices. I think some of the issues that are concerning CSOs in particular are, if I can call them, operational issues, getting the bill implemented and so forth. They were talking about SOPs. I know SOPs have been done, they've been accepted. So anyway, give us a progress report, sir, on where do we stand on the PVO bill implementation? Is the board in place? Who signed certificates? Are certificates going out, etc.?
Thank you very much, Andy. Well, and thank you very much for all people who have been raising their concerns. But what I would want to say is I think we are moving in a very positive note. Where we are, after the enactment of the bill, we managed to sit and discuss with the senior management within the ministry, and we agreed that now, as we come up with the regulations, because to operationalize this, we also need the input of those that are affected by the regulations or the users of the regulations. Just as so you would find out, because to take you back, I think we have heard, I think people have already discussed that the lawmaking process in Zimbabwe is very consultative. People are consulted at various stages, but they give their inputs, and then those are considered. So we also said, no, we need to do this as we come up with the regulations. So we reached out to NGO and other stakeholders, and we got a very positive response. Then we managed to draft the regulations, and currently they are with the Attorney General just to make sure that they are within the right language, and also to ensure that we do not have clauses that are inconsistent with the Constitution of Zimbabwe. So, but what I was told was that maybe probably by next week, the supervisor would have done the proofreading, and then then the regulations would be ready for gazetting. And once they are gazetted, we all have the time to view, to look at them. And one good thing I would want to say is there was no manipulation. We started from scratch with everybody, and just as you heard from Mr. Maposa, we got a lot of support, and with the team of legal officers from the CSOs and from the government side. And with also other resource persons from the FIU to make sure that we include those issues that pertain to Financial Action Task Force, to make sure that when our regulations come up, they are holistic. So this is where we are. And also, when they were doing it, when the further went down to say, take note that we have been, the requirements that we have been demanding on the people, when people submit their regulations, they've been almost like cast on one size fits all. As we come up with the regulations, can we also make sure that we take into consideration the size of the private voluntary organizations, including the CBOs? Okay. So there were concerns that some of was like a CBO sometimes it might not require to have 7 board members. They might be too heavy for them to have, or some other organizations do not even, they are not membership driven, and therefore, so all those issues, the team, they managed to put them within the regulations so that our regulations will be very user-friendly.
Can I ask you about the boards? Because obviously the new PVO bill requires a new board. And that's number one. And number two, I think the CSOs have been putting in their applications. They've been sending them in, waiting for certificates. And so where's that now? It seems as if it's sort of in the bureaucracy or in the...
Well, in terms of the appointment of the board, once the regulations have been gazetted, it becomes easier because this is also, we wanted to make sure that the issue of the nomination of board members is also captured there. And it's inclusive. It's as inclusive as it is. So because where CSOs choose the people to the board, it has to be captured so that at least it will not be like the government put the. It's only the government. It's only those that are ministerial appointees. But those that are appointed by civil society organizations should come out within the civil society organization. And we wanted the regulations to ensure that there are very slim chances whereby the minister can make directives saying we don't want these opponents. They really put people that really represent their interests.
So, Registrar, I will open the floor now, but can I ask you, are you saying that your desk and your staff members are going to be working hard because we need to get this thing resolved, don't we? We need people registered, operating, the regulations, SOPs, the board set in place as soon as possible. What timeline are we looking at here?
I think all the applications that we have received, which stands about 250, I think be rest assured, according to our plan, we must have cleared all those before the end of February 2026.
Okay, there you go. 250 cleared before the end of February.
So in between now, I think by the end of December, all those that we have received, we should be able to receive your response. And if there are areas that we feel you need to fine tune, we should have got that so that at least come January, February, all those all the applications are disposable.
That's good. And I'm sure hopefully when you're looking at the regulations, we may start looking at MOUs to see whether we can do a national MOU for those working nationally, because they're going and putting in all the different MOUs in districts, 52 districts or 10 provinces is serious. But at least if we can do something national and then move it down to district level to make it much easier for CSOs, that's also going to be put in the regulation.
Yes, it's something that is in the offing. And actually, I was disturbed when somebody told me that they had to travel to Harare for interviews or for submitting papers. But when those interviews are done at the district level, they are not done at the national office. So, even when you do your fingerprints, I think it's just a matter of, even if you are 10, you can send one person or if you can send them by Swift or by Zimpost to Police General Headquarters, and they will be cleared and they sent back to you. So really, there isn't need for each and every board member to travel to Harare. If you are six people to travel for fingerprint clearance. So for security clearance, it's quite easy. You can just put your fingerprints together, then you send one person, or you just post them, and they will be cleared and sent back to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Registrar. Now, It sounds very rosy, doesn't it? Yeah? So let's have some questions. We have the registrar here. He's here to answer your questions, and I know he always does answer questions. He never shies away. I know that for a fact. So, where am I? Oh, there we go. As I said, mention who you are, your name, and keep your question as succinct as possible, please.
Okay, thank you so much for this platform and this chance. My name is Washington Chirume from an organization called Mikana. It's foreign, international, from Germany, but with a Shona name. Registrar, I have a question on international NGOs. Our organization, with an intention to register to operate legally in Zimbabwe, was directed by the Embassy of Zimbabwe in Berlin to approach the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education to get an MOU, which will be discussed through the cabinet and get back to us, and then it's submitted to the Minister of Labor and Social Welfare. Unfortunately, since last year, this MOU was submitted by the legal advisor to the minister, who took it to the cabinet. But by now, we have received no response. Until we only got a rumor from one of the ministers that you got some news that the MOU was rejected. I wanted to ask if your office is open to work along with such kind of international NGOs to track progress, or at least to take them through the steps which were stipulated through the line ministry and also the cabinet or the Minister of Labor and Social Welfare to make sure that their efforts are successful and realized. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. We're going to start here, ladies and gentlemen. Surely, thank you very much. I think I've got loads of questions, so you guys should have loads more than me.
Since the Minister
Registrar.
PVO Registrar. Okay. Honorable Acting PVO Registrar, would you please clarify? You talk about 250 applications that are supposedly going to be attended to by February next year. But from other sources of information, people are saying those are old applications. For instance, I'm coming from Masakanen Projects Trust in Bulawayo. I think in Bulawayo we should be having more than 250, in Matebeleland actually, more than 250 applications. And I'm well aware that almost the majority of organizations have submitted applications. I think, and they tried to ask to say, where are these applications in the process of registration? And how can people follow up to know what is happening to their application?
Right, Registrar, you want to handle those questions?
Thank you very much. Well, the issue of international organizations, if the idea is you approach the line ministry that has got the technical capacity to supervise you, this is why you are supposed to have an MOU with that line ministry, and it is the responsibility of that line ministry to process the MOU, and they should be able to give you feedback and then you should be able to follow with the ministry what is the status of your MOU. If it has not been approved, and then they should be able to communicate to you that yes, your application, your MOU was not approved, so that at least you can make a decision whether you want to still pursue other objects or you want to move elsewhere. Because I think it is very unfair for any administrative authority to not to communicate the outcome of someone's submission, because you can't keep me waiting. So I think the best thing is you follow up with the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, so that at least you know where exactly, where is the problem with your applicant, with your MOU. Then, thank you very much for having said that you do that in Matabele, and you submitted the more than 250. But I haven't received more than 250 from Matabeleland. And mostly the ones that we are saying, the old ones, is not true. The ones that I'm talking, actually most of these we received them early this year, and some of them actually were processed during the first quarter of the year, when the PVO board set and looked into the about more than 115 applications that were processed and approved. So really, the application, the mixture of the old ones, because the old ones we did not have a backlog. That was actually we had cleared the backlog, but we only started to have more applications after the enactment of the PVO Amendment Bill. So if the people, anyway, what I'll also do is I'll follow up with all my sub-national structures to ensure that if they've got any application that are still within their offices, then they should be submitted to national office, so that at least we give them, we look at them and make sure that their processes, people are given responses to their applications. And for your own information, we've also had discussions in other forums, and they are, including EU, they said they would support us to make sure that we standardize, to educate our sub-national structures, to make sure that we standardize the way, even the process of application. So I think this one we also wait to make sure that once the regulations are out, we do the cascade of the training up to the district level, to make sure that we are also able to reach out to the community-based organization, so that there is no need for a community-based organization to travel. And in addition, we are also in the process of finalizing our Zimbabwe the social registry, whereby even applications for private voluntary organizations, we also expect them to be done online, so that this should not take time, and we should be on real time, so that even if you submit your application today, we should be able to see on the system that you have submitted an application, and then we can even start to look at it and responding to you.
I think what's becoming clear, ladies and gentlemen, is that we've had the PVO bill and it's now passed, okay? The issue now comes in all the work that needs to be done around it to make it operational. And you can hear what the registrar is saying. There's a lot of work to do. So for me, and I think registrar, let me ask you this, because I know that there's been lots of meetings between the CSO representative, NGO, and your office under the Talk to Regulator initiative. How can we enhance that cooperation so that there's a well-known, transparent plan that says these are the things we're working on, these are the things that we require input and so forth, so that there's a joint plan between your desk and the CSOs to get all these issues that you're talking about in place and done? Because these are operational stuff that you don't need Parliament and so forth. Is there a suggestion you may put up so that CSOs and yourselves can effectively work together to try and deal with some of the issues that they're raising?
No, it's okay. What we can do is we can do with the NGO is we can share with them maybe the number of applications they received from each province. Either on a quarterly basis, we come up with the schedule saying we have received so many from by region, and also how many have been processed and how many are still outstanding, so that at least we are at the same path. And also, even where we have challenges or where organizations need assistance, we are readily available to assist the organizations.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I
And
think
also, what we have agreed is that the payment for registration, you can only do it when we are satisfied that your papers meet the minimum standards for you to be registered. Where this is not about raising funds, whereby we're saying you make your application, and if it doesn't meet the minimum standards to be registered, then we say pay register, pay application fee. No, we only pay when we are sure that you are going to get registered.
well, there you heard it. The Registrar General saying his office is open for you to go and talk, and please do. Really, I'm not sure why you feel that you can't approach him. He is approachable, so please approach him. Either go through NGO and ask your questions. Those of you who have submitted and you really want to find out if your applications are there, he will share that information. There's SOPs coming up. There's all sorts of things that will be happening, and then the board will be constituted and so forth. So it's very important that communication continues, and I think that, Registrar, you're committing to continue communicating with the CSO sector.
Sure. We'll continue. Actually, we want the communication to improve so that at least, because the idea, the moment you communicate, then there will be less misunderstanding, less. This is where you actually there's need for transparency and accountability, and it should be both ways. It's not transparency. We don't expect transparency from me, but I also expect transparency from me alone. But we also expect it has to be both ways. The way we do things should be also checked, and it is also part of civil society organization to make sure that they also make us account for how do we do our work.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've heard quite a lot from you. Please give the acting PVO registrar a very big round of applause, Mr. Tirivavi Totamirepi.